My wife told me she wanted an open marriage after 15 years together. I said absolutely not. She did it anyway. When I filed for divorce, she laughed and said I'd never get custody because of evidence she has against me. I have no idea what she's talking about. My lawyer says it's bad. I, 38M, am currently sitting in a hotel room trying to process how my entire life fell apart in 3 weeks. I need advice because I'm terrified I'm about to lose my kids over something I don't even understand. My wife, Rachel, 37F, and I have been married for 15 years. We have 2 kids, Sophie, 12F, and Nathan, 9M. Until a month ago, I thought we had a solid marriage. Not perfect, but good. We were partners, co-parents, best friends. Or so I believed. 3 weeks ago, Rachel sat me down and said she wanted to talk about evolving our relationship. She said she'd been doing a lot of self-reflection and realized she felt constrained by traditional monogamy. She said she wanted to open our marriage. I was completely blindsided. I asked if she was unhappy, if I'd done something wrong, if there was someone else. She said no, this wasn't about me. It was about her needing to explore her identity and desires. I told her absolutely not. I said I didn't sign up for an open marriage. I said if she wanted to be with other people, we should get divorced because I'm not interested in that kind of relationship. She got angry, said I was being controlling and sex negative and holding her back from personal growth. She said lots of couples do this successfully and I was being closed-minded. I held firm. I said my boundary is monogamy. If she can't accept that, we need to end the marriage. She stormed off. 2 days later, I found out she'd been on dating apps. Tinder, Bumble, Feud, all of them. Her profile said ethically non-monogamous and married but open. I confronted her, and she said, I told you what I needed. You can either accept it or not, but I'm not asking for permission anymore. I was devastated. I asked if there was someone specific. She admitted she'd been talking to someone for a few weeks, but insisted nothing physical had happened yet. She said she was being honest with me about her needs, and I should appreciate that rather than trying to control her. I moved out that night, went to stay with my brother. I couldn't be in the same house with her. The next morning, I contacted a divorce attorney. My lawyer filed for divorce, citing irreconcilable differences, and asked for primary custody of Sophie and Nathan. Rachel got served the papers at work, her request. She didn't want the kids to see. That evening, she called me. She was laughing, actually laughing. She said, "You really think you're going to get custody? That's adorable." I said the kids need stability, and she's the one who chose to blow up our family. She said, "Good luck with that argument when I show the court what I have on you." I said, "What are you talking about?" She said, "Evidence, Daniel. Lots of evidence. Pictures, videos, documents. Things that will make it very clear you're not the stable parent you think you are." I've been preparing for this possibility for a while now. I was confused and terrified. I said, "What evidence?" "Evidence of what?" She just laughed again and said, "You'll find out in discovery. Sleep well." Then she hung up. Reddit. I have no idea what she's talking about. I've been racking my brain for 3 days. I don't have any secrets. I don't do drugs. I rarely even drink. I've never cheated. I've never been arrested. I don't have any gambling debts or hidden money. I'm a boring software engineer who goes to work, comes home, and spends time with my kids. What evidence could she possibly have? I told my lawyer about the call. He said we need to be prepared for anything, that sometimes in contentious divorces, people fabricate or exaggerate things to gain leverage. He said to document everything, gather my own evidence of being a good parent, and not engage with Rachel directly anymore. But I'm terrified. What if she's manufactured something? What if she's been planning this? She said she'd been preparing for a while. What does that mean? I've been going through my memories trying to think of anything she could twist. Times I lost my temper. I've yelled during arguments, but never at the kids, never violently. Times I was drunk. I had a few beers at our neighbor's barbecue last summer. Times I was alone with the kids. Hundreds of times. I'm their dad. We hang out all the time. Could she have taken something out of context? Could she have been secretly recording me? Could she have photoshopped something? I genuinely have no idea. My brother thinks she's bluffing, trying to scare me into backing down on the custody fight. My lawyer is more cautious. He says we need to assume she has something and be prepared to counter it. I talked to Sophie and Nathan yesterday, supervised FaceTime per the temporary custody arrangement. They asked when I was coming home. I didn't know what to say. I can't tell them their mom wants to sleep with other people. I can't tell them I might be fighting for custody. I just said Dad and Mom need some time apart, but I love them so much. Sophie said, Mom's been crying a lot. Nathan said, Mom said you left because you don't love us anymore. I almost broke down right there. I told them that's not true, that I love them more than anything, that this is between Mom and me and has nothing to do with them. After the call, I texted Rachel asking her not to tell the kids I don't love them. She responded, then maybe you should have thought about that before trying to take them away from me. I'm not trying to take them away from her. I'm trying to protect them from the chaos she's creating. but she's spinning it like I'm the villain. Yesterday, Rachel's lawyer sent over a list of discovery requests. They want access to my phone, my computer, my social media accounts, my work emails, my bank records, my medical records, everything. My lawyer says that's standard, but to be very careful about what we turn over. But here's what's scary. They also requested all photographic and video evidence related to Daniel's interactions with the minor children and all documentation of Daniel's mental health treatment history. Mental health treatment? I saw a therapist for 3 sessions after my dad died 2 years ago. That's it. Why would that matter? My lawyer says they're fishing, trying to build a narrative that I'm unstable or that there's something concerning about my parenting. He said we'll fight the overly broad requests, but we need to be strategic. I asked him point blank, what's the worst case scenario here? He said, if she has evidence, real or fabricated, that suggests you're a danger to the kids or an unfit parent, you could lose custody entirely. Supervised visits only. It depends on what she has and how convincing it is. I felt sick. I asked, what kind of evidence could do that? He listed evidence of abuse, physical or emotional, evidence of substance abuse, evidence of neglect, evidence of dangerous behavior around the kids, evidence of mental instability, evidence of inappropriate conduct. Reddit, I haven't done any of those things. I'm a good dad. I coach Nathan's soccer team. I help Sophie with her homework. I make them breakfast on weekends. I tuck them in at night. I've never hit them, never neglected them, never put them in danger. So what does Rachel have? Or what has she created? My lawyer suggested I get ahead of this by gathering my own evidence. Character references from friends and family, documentation of my involvement in the kids' lives, records from their schools showing I attend conferences and events, pediatric records showing I take them to appointments. I've been doing all of that, but I feel like I'm fighting a ghost. I don't know what I'm defending against. Last night, Rachel posted on Facebook, which I can still see through a friend's account, sometimes you don't really know someone until they show you who they are in a crisis. Protecting my babies from toxicity, no matter who it comes from. People are commenting asking if she's okay, telling her they're there for her. She's playing the victim. She's making it look like I'm the bad guy when she's the one who wanted to cheat on me ethically. I'm furious, terrified, and confused all at once. My lawyer says the preliminary custody hearing is in 2 weeks. That's when Rachel will have to present whatever evidence she has. 2 weeks of not knowing what bomb she's going to drop. 2 weeks of wondering if I'm going to lose my kids. 2 weeks of Sophie and Nathan thinking I abandoned them because their mom is poisoning them against me. I keep playing the conversation over in my head. I've been preparing for this possibility for a while now. What does that mean? Was she planning to leave me? Was she planning to force an open marriage and assume I'd refuse so she could divorce me with the upper hand? Has she been setting me up? Did she start fights on purpose so she could record me angry? Did she fabricate screenshots of conversations we never had? Did she stage photos to make it look like something happened that didn't? Or am I being paranoid and she's just bluffing? My brother says to stay strong, that the truth will come out. But I've read enough Reddit to know that's not always true. Sometimes people lie convincingly. Sometimes judges believe the wrong person. Sometimes good parents lose custody because of manipulation and fabrication. I'm terrified this is happening to me. What do I do, Reddit? How do I prepare for an attack I can't see coming? How do I prove I'm a good father when I don't even know what I'm being accused of? How do I protect my kids when their own mother is weaponizing them against me? I feel like I'm living in a nightmare and I can't wake up. Final update, 2.5 weeks later. I've been reading all your comments and they've helped me prepare mentally for what happened. I'm posting this update because the custody hearing was yesterday and the truth finally came out. First, I want to thank everyone who told me to document everything and prepare for fabricated evidence. You were right. So right. Leading up to the hearing, my lawyer subpoenaed all of Rachel's evidence through discovery. She fought it hard. Her lawyer tried to keep things sealed for the children's protection. Red flag. The judge ordered her to turn everything over 72 hours before the hearing. When we got the files, my lawyer called me immediately. He said, we need to meet. Now, Rachel's evidence was a folder of edited screenshots, doctored photos, and completely fabricated text conversations. She'd used Photoshop and apps to create. 1. Fake text messages between me and someone named Amber, no idea who this is, discussing meeting up for drinks and complaining about Rachel. 1. Photos of me that were clearly taken without my knowledge, in the garage, in our bedroom, in the car, with timestamps and captions claiming I was drunk or unstable. 1. A journal entry, supposedly written by Sophie, saying she was scared of Dad when he gets angry. 1. Screenshots of my bank account showing large withdrawals, supposedly for gambling, completely fabricated. My real bank records show nothing like this. 1. A video of me yelling that was edited to remove all context. I was yelling at a football game on TV. But here's where Rachel made her fatal mistake. She got sloppy. My lawyer hired a digital forensics expert who analyzed everything. The text messages had metadata showing they were created using a text generator app. The bank statements had a different font than my actual bank uses. The journal entry was typed, not handwritten, and the file creation date was 3 days after I filed for divorce. The video had obvious edit cuts. It was all fake. Every single piece. My lawyer said this was one of the most blatant cases of evidence fabrication he'd seen. He said we were going to bury her at the hearing. Yesterday was the hearing. Rachel showed up confident, smiling, dressed professionally. She had no idea we'd already torn apart her entire case. Her lawyer presented the evidence, made a big speech about how I was unstable, deceitful, and potentially dangerous to the children, said the evidence spoke for itself, and asked for full custody with only supervised visitation for me. Then my lawyer stood up. He systematically dismantled every piece of evidence. He showed the metadata. He showed the forensic analysis. He showed that the text conversations were impossible because I didn't even have Amber's number. He showed my actual bank records. He presented Sophie's real journal, which I'd found with permission from my temporary custody supervisor, where she wrote about missing me and not understanding why Mom was so angry. Rachel's face went from confident to pale to panicked in real time. But my lawyer wasn't done. He presented evidence I'd gathered. Character references from 12 people, including teachers, coaches, neighbors, and our pediatrician. Photos and videos of me with the kids at games, recitals, school events. School records showing I'd attended every parent-teacher conference for years. A statement from Sophie's teacher saying Sophie had asked her why Mom is saying Dad doesn't love us. Text messages from Rachel telling me she'd ruin me if I didn't drop the custody fight. Then he played the recording. I'd recorded Rachel's phone call where she laughed about having evidence and said she'd been preparing for this possibility. Legal in my state with one-party consent. The judge was not happy. She asked Rachel directly, "Did you fabricate this evidence?" Rachel's lawyer tried to object, but the judge shut him down. Answer the question, Mrs. Patterson. Rachel tried to claim the digital expert was wrong, that the evidence was real. The judge asked her to explain the metadata showing documents created after the divorce filing. Rachel couldn't answer. Then the judge asked about the text messages with Amber. Rachel claimed I must have deleted them from my phone. My lawyer showed phone record from my carrier proving no such text existed. Rachel broke down. She started crying and said she just wanted to protect her babies, and she was scared of losing them. The judge was unmoved. The judge called a 15-minute recess. When we came back, she delivered her ruling. I get primary physical custody of Sophie and Nathan. Rachel gets supervised visitation only, pending a psychological evaluation. Rachel is ordered to attend co-parenting classes. The judge is referring Rachel's evidence fabrication to the state bar. Her lawyer looked furious. This could affect his license too if he knew. The judge is considering contempt of court charges against Rachel for perjury. I couldn't believe it. I'd gone from terrified I'd lose my kids to having primary custody in one hearing. But the judge wasn't done. She looked at Rachel and said, "Mrs. Patterson, I've been on the bench for 19 years. I've seen parents do terrible things in custody battles. But fabricating evidence, manufacturing a false narrative, and attempting to alienate your children from their father is among the worst I've seen. You didn't just lie to this court. You weaponized your children's emotions against their father for your own selfish purposes. That is unforgivable." Rachel left the courthouse in tears with her lawyer yelling at her in the hallway about how she'd lied to him too. I left with primary custody of my kids. The aftermath. I picked up Sophie and Nathan from Rachel's house that evening with a police escort per the judge's order. They were confused and scared. Rachel had been crying all day. I took them to our new apartment, bigger than the hotel, finally, and we had a long talk. I told them age-appropriate versions of the truth. Mom and Dad both love them, but Mom and Dad can't be married anymore. They'll live with me most of the time and visit Mom regularly. None of this is their fault. Sophie asked, "Did Mom really lie?" "Word travels fast, I guess." I said, "Mom made some mistakes because she was scared, but she still loves you." I won't badmouth Rachel to them, even after everything. Rachel texted me that night. "I'm sorry. I panicked. I thought you'd take them away from me. I never meant for it to go this far." I didn't respond. My lawyer advised no contact except through attorneys or the co-parenting app the court ordered us to use. What I learned. 1. Rachel wasn't planning this for months. She panicked when I filed for divorce and threw together fake evidence in desperation. 1. She'd been having an affair for at least 3 months. It came out during testimony. The open marriage request was her trying to legitimize cheating after getting caught emotionally. 1. Her boyfriend dumped her when the custody battle got messy, which apparently made her more desperate. 1. She genuinely believed her fabricated evidence would work because she'd seen it work on true crime shows. My lawyer says the divorce will be finalized soon. Rachel will likely get standard visitation once she completes her evaluation and classes, but I'll have final say on major decisions. Final thoughts. 3 weeks ago, I was terrified I'd lose my kids because of evidence I couldn't defend against. Today, my kids are asleep in their rooms down the hall, and I have legal custody. To anyone facing false accusations in a custody battle, document everything, hire a good lawyer, get expert help, and trust that the truth usually comes out. Rachel thought she was being clever. She was just sloppy and desperate. I'm not celebrating that my kid's mom imploded in court, but I'm relieved they're safe with me and that the truth won. Now we heal and move forward.